Hey folks, Ray from Rainmaker.com here to give out Wahoo's newest product, the Wahoo Headwind. It is a $250 fan. Yeah, it's just a fan. Actually, to be fair, it's a really fancy fan. It blows air, it blows a lot of air, it blows a lot of air really fast, and it blows a lot of air really fast based on your trainer. So the faster you go, the more air it blows. Or you can also switch it into heart rate mode, which means that the harder you're working, the more air it blows as well. And that's basically the gist of it. But of course, like most of Wahoo's accessories, it is kind of pricey. Like for example, the Climb at $600, this is $250. But it's designed to be sort of that like make the coolest pain cave setup you can. So I have not tried it yet. We're gonna do that together. First, we gotta open the box up and check out what's inside and see if it's worth $250. I will say I went to the hardware store yesterday and I checked out what I could buy for $250 worth of fans. And at my particular hardware store, I could get a 3/4 of a meter, so 75 centimeter fan that was a beast. Like it was like this big around and it would deliver a lot of air. I tried to plug it in and something really bad happened and the lights, I unplugged it quickly. So I can't test that fan there. I'm not sure if I want to buy a $250 fan yet, but we'll see if this can do the trick. There we go. So those are just the box tops there. And inside here, we've got the fan. You can see it right there. Maybe there you can see it. There we go. And it's just sort of chilling there. There we go. The fan. That's it. So put this down, facing you, facing me, facing, there we go. That's the side we want. So here we can see the fan itself. The screwdriver was what I opened the box with. I don't see anything else in the box. There's just nothing there, so I think that's that. It's got the cord. I will say I like already the fact that the cord has this wrapper thing, almost like a vacuum cleaner does, so you can wrap it up. It's a nice touch. It's sort of the same thing with like, I wish they did stuff like this on trainers too, to be out of the cord, just clean lap wrap and all that, but that's cool. On this side here, we've got a logo, we got vents coming in, vents on this side, maybe they're going out, I'm not sure, but this is definitely the outward direction. We have a power icon right there, and we have indicators for plus and minus and heart rate and speed. And that's it. It's not too heavy. I don't have a scale handy at the second, but I would say it's like maybe 10 or 15 pounds. It's beefy, but it's not like it's not that heavy. So let's just go ahead and get this thing set up. I think that's the simplest way of doing it. I'm gonna go ahead and put it next to the new Kicker 2018 trainer and some other stuff just because I've got it around here, and see how well it works. Okay, here we are all set up with the Headwind out there. Now in this particular configuration, I put the Headwind up front underneath the Kicker desk because I have that, I use it, I love it. The one downside, as I'll talk about a little later on, is essentially that if you have the Headwind there, it blocks the body portion. So like you get an extreme cooling of your crotch, but that's actually about it. So what I typically would recommend is if you have the Kicker desk, to take the Headwind and go ahead and just simply move it right about there, which lets you go ahead and get the strong, full sense of the wind. Even though it's designed to go over the desk, it just doesn't work all that well in that scenario. So let's kind of walk through some basics here. As I mentioned before, you have different ways of controlling it. One is via heart rate, 2 is via speed, which is technically via trainer speed, and then 3 is manual control. But there's actually a 4th and a 5th way of doing it. The 4th way is with the mobile app here, and then the 5th way is to go ahead and use Apple's HomeKit to control it. Now the HomeKit piece isn't quite working this very second. Maybe by time you see this video I'll have something in there, but right now it's not yet quite working. So I can't show you that, but I can show you all the other methods there. So the first one is heart rate pairing. So in the case of heart rate pairing, what I do is I go ahead and I take my heart rate strap here and I go down to the fan itself until it sees the heart rate on this little blue icon. So I take this, I put it right next to it, and it is a kind of flashing pairing, at which point you're ready to go. Speed is the same way. I take this and it pairs to the Kicker. So ideally you gotta kind of drag this a little closer to that so it is a proximity pairing, but that does work. And so in this case, if I want to switch to that, I just simply press the right arrow right there and it goes ahead and over speed. And in a second, you'll see it'll hopefully go from blinking to that trainer right there. That means that it's gone ahead and found that trainer and it's ready to go. I found that sometimes it's a little bit slow to do that, but there we go right there. Now it's confirmed blocked on the speed sensor. And then finally, I've got manual mode on the unit itself. I go over here and you see the different bars, their levels. And I just simply press right and it goes to full strength. So we'll go bring it back down to here. We'll put it on the base one right there for right now. Next, the air intake on this, as I point this right at my microphone there, air intake on this is from both sides. So this side as well as this side here. and it shoots out in this like perfect column of air that we'll talk about as well. One thing that's been really interesting in this environment is the fact that the floor, the concrete, is so cold that it actually feels like cold air coming up because it's pulling the air from right at ground level, right along that concrete up to here. Probably won't really work in a living room, but I thought it was kind of a neat little thing that I noticed here that was like, wow, that's actually pretty nifty. Next, let's look at the app side of things, and then I'll jump on the bike and we'll kind of control it all from there. Okay, so on the app itself, right here, we've got the ability to go ahead and control things. And so what you're seeing here is at the top, we have the sensor ID. So you pair it just like in the normal sensors menu. So if I go back here and cancel out of this, you can see the different sensors there that are shown nearby. So that's all there. I go into the Headwind sensor, and then you'll see it'll pull the sensor info in just a second once it finishes connecting to it. And from there, I can control it in the same three manners I could down below. So I'm gonna go and just cancel away that update for that firmware, because of course your fan has firmware on it and it can be updated just like this one can. So on the left-hand side, first we got the heart rate. So you can see the minimum fan speed and the maximum fan speed. This allows you to go ahead and set the minimum for your heart rate where it turns on and basically is kind of the baseline, and the maximum where it's going to be at full blast. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is that you don't really want to set your max heart rate here because more than likely you're going to be pretty sweaty already at like a Z2 level or even a high Z1 level. So you really kind of want to skew this down quite a bit so that it makes sense for what you want the fan to be on. I would personally set it, like for me, my Z2 is in the 140s. So I would go here and I would set it for, say, 140. So it's going to basically be the range between 115 and 140, which is kind of what I would expect. Next, we have the speed from a trainer standpoint. So there we go, the same sort of thing, your minimum speed and your maximum speed. Again, keep in mind though that, on Zwift, you're going to be working hardest as you're going up a hill going slowest. So I don't suspect a lot of folks to use a speed option. Some might though, to merely replicate being outdoors in the wind speed, but that almost is a bit gimmicky to me. I just want to be cool. I don't really want to replicate that at this point in time. If you get to like giant ass fans that can like feel like you're blowing down and the whole thing is crazy, but not really with this itself. And then finally, we have the control of the fan speed straight up. So I can just simply take this. You saw it right away. It went to 25%, turns on. You can probably hear a little bit of my mic coming through. And then I can go to full blast there. And it's almost instantaneous, as you can probably also hear my mic coming through right now as well. But what's cool is I can step out of that entire blade of wind. So that is how thin it is. Right there, I'm out of the wind. There's nothing touching me. And then right here, I'm in the wind. As I go forward a bit more, I'm now out of the wind. It's that, like, that's how precise it is. It's not just a big fan blowing everywhere. It's roughly from right about there and to right about here, and the wind tunnel like that. I mean, it's really, really precise. Really cool stuff. Now, the best way to demonstrate that is to have like a crazy wind tunnel setup. I lack that. So instead, what I did is I went online and I bought a $39 smoke machine. And we're going to see if we can make this work to show you what this looks like as the smoke comes across this and basically chokes me. So I'm going to get that all set up here, and we'll see if this will actually work. Okay, so we're filling up the area with smoke right now. We've made a box fortress of boxes around the cave. Shane is doing his best DJ impression right here of filling up our cave, our bar with the smoke. This is horrible smelling smoke, folks. And our smoke machine just died. Oh man. Okay, so we're gonna see if it works. We're gonna turn it on and see if we can get it to, yeah, that didn't really do what we wanted to do. We were really hoping to show you a column of smoke like straight out like this.
And it cleared the smoke very well.
It cleared it well though. Like we cleared out all the smoke in a matter of seconds. So I'm now ready to ride because the smoke is gone and I can get on with this trainer workout. Bad. Okay, so that clearly did not work. But don't worry, we've got a solution for this. In particular, we've got a solution for the $39 plus the $8 that it wasted on the giant tub of smoke. If you found this funny enough, hit up the Amazon links in the bottom and buy anything on Amazon. Probably not this smoke machine that I'll link to because it's a piece of shit. Okay folks, quick mid-video update here. DJ Miller here has figured out the smoke machine. This is a post-video thing we did, and he basically just stuck the doohickey inside the other doohickey and checked this out. So here we go. Look at that. You can barely see it kind of going jetting up straight from the headwind up to the bike. Now, I don't disagree, this is a horrible background, gray and gray, but check that out right there. Yeah, look at that. That is magic, folks. Smoke straight out. This is what we were going for. This is what we spent $39 for. In any case, When it comes to going ahead and powering by speed, what I'll do is I'll switch this over into speed mode and show you that. Okay, so on the app here, I'm gonna go ahead and change it over down to speed control. So I'm gonna do that now. And you can see like it immediately cut it back to a very low speed. So it's just kind of very slow right now. Then I'm gonna go ahead and throw down some watts, and we're gonna see if the fan, the control on there, will go ahead and follow along my speed. So it did a little bit, but here's one catch. I was already at the top end speed there because I set it for 40K. I was at 24 miles per hour. So slowing down now to 10, 11 miles an hour, you can hear the fan is kind of pulling back a little bit. So it's working, but as I said before, not really a setting I would tend to use. Instead, the setting I would probably use the most is really just the base fan control, just to be able to go ahead and go boom, full speed, and have it right there, or to shut it off if I need to listen to something, or whatever the case may be, just kind of easy like that. The question then becomes is whether or not I can fall off the bike unsnapping, and more importantly, whether or not it's worth 250 bucks. That's tough. As I mentioned earlier, I went to a hardware store, there's a lot of fans. I could buy a lot of blowing devices for 250 bucks. And it's cool, and if you've got like this ultimate Wahoo setup, then yeah, it makes sense, but I don't know. To me, I think it's a price point that should be like $125. That would be like a good price point for this unit. By the same token, I thought the same thing for the kicker desk, and myself and everyone else that's bought it loves it. So I guess there's a market for that, and that's certainly the market that Wahoo's aiming for, that kind of high-end realm. I don't know if the fan may be kind of pushing that a little bit too much. Either way, if you found this interesting, whack that like button at the bottom or the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to check out all the rest of the posts I have on Wahoo's new gear, including the Wahoo 2018 kicker, as well as the new Wahoo kicker core that was announced today. And of course, all of the earbuds goodness up there in the corner or somewhere on the screen. Just click a bunch, subscribe button, like button, you know what to do. Have a good one.